Hello, BookTube. That's Friday, and this time for real. I checked, and that's Friday Reads. It's also a bit of an experiment here. I'm experimenting with yet more new technology. We'll see how this works. But my Friday Reads, my weekend reading is in great flux. But there's emerged a hard kernel of rereads that I'll be doing, that I'm looking forward to doing. In fact, one of them I've done already. And I wanted to show them to you. Some of them we've seen on this channel before. They're recent or semi-recent secondhand shop finds that that's all the prodding that I almost never go to secondhand shops anymore. But I did recently, and that's now that I almost never do it. I find that when I do, there's just this impulse to drop everything and read them right away, to read the books you get that way right away. So the first one, I know I've mentioned on this channel before. This is Body and Soul by Frank Conroy. His novel about a young piano prodigy that is just, it's extremely well done. And I have the, I don't actually know what this is. This is Henry Holt. I have the original hardcover of this thing that was in bookstores, and it's nowhere near as nice looking as this. I have seen this cover in a kind of trade paperback. I didn't think it was made in a hardcover, so I will swap this out. I will swap out, and in the meantime, I'll use it as a perfect excuse to reread it, because it has some beats, some dramatic beats in it that just, they're just amazing. Here, let me see if I can find one for you really quickly. There's a scene where young Claude, that's our piano prodigy, finds a notebook from a student at a very expensive prep school in New York, and goes to the school to return it, and strikes up a quick friendship with the boy, and is he's led to a piano. The boy leads him to a piano, because Claude inquires whether or not the school ever offers scholarships. And one of the teachers, who happens to be nearby, says, well, we do for people with exceptional gifts. And somewhat sneeringly says, do you have any exceptional gifts? And when Claude gets to the piano, he says that he mentions first, in his viewpoint, he says that his physical relationship was fixed. All else was transitory. He was located. But then he plays. He plays a piece for that teacher, who is absolutely astonished. Says, what? You mean he just walked in? And we're told the tall man was momentarily speechless. Ivan, the other boy, stood waiting, and no one seemed to know what to do, so Claude played Chopin's Etude No. 5 easily, as Mr. Fredericks, his old teacher, had taught him. The tall man turned out to be Dr. Morris, who taught history, and who made Andrews, the Ivan, the boy who discovered Claude, responsible for walking Claude through 2 days of tests. First, a repeat performance of the Bach and the Chopin for Dr. Satterwhite, head of the music department, a grim, chunky man in his 40s whose square face remained entirely expressionless during the playing. It was a different piano this time, a Steinway upright, and in Satterwhite's classroom. At the end, Satterwhite turned to Dr. Morris. What do you want to know? Your opinion, obviously. About what? Oh, come on, George, Morris said, pursing his lips impatiently. His playing, how good is he? We've never had anyone near his level. Satterwhite turned toward the door. He plays quite a lot better than I do. Better than I could ever hope to. He opened the door and left. There are also lots of other elements too. Claude falls in love with an upper-class girl, and also Claude's mother is a very affecting portrait of manic obsession, and a human portrait of that. So I'm looking forward to rereading all the bits of it that I don't know by heart. And then the next one is by Mark Bowden, the famous author of Black Hawk Down, and a recent massive great history of Vietnam. And this is about the Conficker internet virus of 2008, and it's thrilling, absolutely thrilling. It's a study of how this thing was constructed, how the good guys in the internet community eventually realized what it was, and the fiendishly complex things that it was doing. When I originally read this, I loved it. I put it on my list for one of the best nonfiction works of the year. But when I first picked it up, I thought there's no way in the world that even Mark Bowden will make this subject interesting for me. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong. He does. If you ever see this, or if you're interested in computer science and you've never read this, oh, hie thee to a library and get it. It's thrilling. Absolutely thrilling. Terrifying, but thrilling. Then the next one is a trade paperback book I read when it first came out. Can't wait to read it again. This is also Mark Bowden. This is Guests of the Ayatollah, about the Iran hostage crisis that dogged the last year of Jimmy Carter's presidency. It's deep, granular reporting. They're really a good illustration of how, the wonders that a great writer can do. Just let loose on any subject, because it's not just that it's granular reporting; it's also that it's fascinatingly written. You page turn. And then the last one that we'll do for now. This is just a quick Friday Reads test video, but these are all legitimate things. I'll be rereading them all night long. I'm in the mood. It's pouring rain. It's dark as night here. I feel in the mood to reread. And the last one I have read a number of times, but I found an edition that I've never seen before. It's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne, in an illustrated edition by Leo and Diane Dillon, whose illustrations are all in color. There are quite a few of them, and they are gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And I know that's a shallow reason to pick up a book and reread it, but I haven't reread 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in a little while, and that's all I need. So there you go. That is a Friday Reads test video just about rereading books. These are 4 rereads that I'm going to do probably in the next 20 hours. So I could do a Saturday Reads video. If this works, maybe I will. But in the meantime, I'm hoping I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.